Alright, welcome back to Plastic Models by Regular Dude, and back to work on the Eduard Bf109. Here's how it sits now. I just installed the tail wheel. We'll do the detail painting on the gear part there. And then I'm going to be working on some of the cockpit parts. For example, I need to install the, I guess the headrest type deal that goes in the canopy. I've got some photo etch parts to install. I need to put the antenna on the back part of the cockpit glass and a little bit of painting. I've got the propeller done right here, right there, and we'll do a little bit of chipping along the edges, not anything too serious, but I'm gonna have to do some. And so that will get me going. I'm getting down to the wire here. I don't have much left to do. I basically have this and the landing gear to install. Before I install that stuff, though, I'm going to start the weathering process. So I'm going to go ahead and start putting some of this together while something else is drying, and then I'll come back. Tip of the day on building an aircraft model, at least with Eduard. As you can see, I've been applying the decals. Got all the decals installed or applied, and then gave it a good clear coat. And as you can probably see on the decal instructions here for the particular aircraft I'm doing, there are some small decals here and there, but they're not, there's no number on them, as in these here. You know, Balkenkreuz number 1, this one here number 11, this one here S43. You got two decal sheets here. You have what I assume to be kind of the stencils for whatever, for all of this range of aircraft, with some variations in color maybe. And then you have the larger decals for doing the individual call outs according to which aircraft you're doing. So those were easy enough. They're numbered, but only a few of these S numbered decals were showing up. So I thought that's kind of strange. So I really had to do some scrutinizing and looking closely and figuring out that little teeny tiny writing with 52-year-old eyeballs, which ones were which, and I was able to figure it out. However, I was kind of wondering why there were so many decals left on this particular S sheet here for the stencils data. But you know, I thought whatever. So when I was checking for something else, I flipped this thing here, and oh, looky there, stencil variants. That's all the general stencils and where they go. So fortunately, the ones that I guessed on, I was correct, and then I was able to do the rest. So all that said, I've got the decals applied. Now all I have to do is give it another good clear coat, and then I can paint a few little small details, and then I can start weathering the aircraft. So I'll come back in a bit with that. Alright, so I have the ultimate weathering wash in the light dirt and the dark dirt. And see if I can zoom in here. I have applied the light wash to this side here, and I've already rubbed it off. So and yeah, it looks pretty good. It's a little bit of dusty looking in there, but it's not quite the contrast that I'm looking for. So I applied the dark wash on this side, and now all I have to do is rub it off and see what it looks like. And for this, I'm going to use a Q-tip / cotton bud. see, you can see a little bit better. Contrast, the contrast is quite a bit better, you know, for the rivets and for the panel lines and the joints of the where the stabilizer is. So it looks a little bit different. It's a little dark looking, but I think with a little bit of work I'll be able to get some of that off. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some I'm going to use some water, and I'm just going to wash that off really good so it's all bare again. And then I think I am perhaps going to use the dark dirt and see what I can come up with, and I think it'll be fine on the top as well. So I'm going to experiment a little bit more with it and then come back, but right now it looks like I'm going to use the dark wash, but let me clean that off and see what I can come up with. Okay, here's a little bit more here. I did the underneath of the ailerons and the flaps, and as you can see, the difference is pretty nice. I like the effect, the dirtiness of that. It looks really good, and I like the way it deposits around the edges and in the you know, rivets along the edges. I really think I like this. I really think I like this product here. It looks like it's going to work. So I'm going to go ahead and do the whole shooting match here, do the whole aircraft. I'm going to do it in segments so it doesn't dry too long, and do the bottom, then I will do the top, and then I'll come back and see what I've got. Actually, I think I'll demonstrate this. So I'll just crack open the bottle of stuff here, get my brush. I use this size brush here, one of my wash brushes, and just dip it in the foamy junk on top's good enough, and then just if I was doing the whole thing and, you know, just blopping it all on at once, I wouldn't be so careful, but I want to, since I've already done that, I don't want to do it again. And just put it on like this. Just scrub it in there pretty good. As you can see, it's kind of puddling up, so I'm scrubbing it back and forth to make sure it covers it well. Doesn't leave any voids. Scrub it because I do have a I used Model Master acrylic gloss for the clear coat for the decals, and then to seal the decals. I'm going to do the inside as well, but I'm going to do those, I think, after I do this. Just make sure I get really good coverage on all of it. I'll be painting these guns once I'm done. That'll be one of the final things I do. See, all those little rivets are getting filled in with this stuff, and it just, man, I like the way it looks. And a quick note on the decals supplied with this kit. They're really nice. They're very, very thin, and they go on really well, and it doesn't, you don't get much of a carrier film showing up, so it's pretty nice. They're good decals. even the large ones, you know, instead of using stencils. They look pretty nice. And I'm doing this in sections. I like working in sections, that way I can control a little bit more what I'm doing. So I'm basically going to do the whole lower wing. I'm going to do this all in real time so you can see how quickly you can come back and wipe this stuff off. And again, the nice thing about this, it's being an acrylic, and maybe because it's a clay wash, it'll wash off really easily. If you don't like what you've done, you can just come back, you can just stick it under the faucet in the kitchen or the wherever, and just wash this stuff right off. And if you've got a decent sealer coat on here, or you know, even just paint, I guess, you know, you're not going to wash that off. This clay wash, clay-based wash, or whatever it is, doesn't seem to be as permanent as some of the other washes that are out there. Okay, so that looks pretty good. See any pulled up spots, you can go back over them. Alright, so that is that. Make sure that's all filled in really good there. Try all those rivets. Wash this brush off. And then, I suppose, see, that's already dried up pretty good. I suppose, as I demonstrated in another video, it's a wet brush, I don't want that. You could take a dry brush and wipe it off, but that looks like it might take too long, so I'm going to use Q-tip here. And as you can see, it's leaving it deposited in the panel lines and the rivets and the grooves and the nooks and the crannies. Very nicely. So that's what it looks like. Looking pretty good. So I'm going to work a little bit more on this. Don't want to bore you too much, just want to demonstrate how easy and how quick it actually is. So I'll come back. Alright, so on the 109, as you can see, I don't have it in the frame here. I just glued the antenna, the cockpit antenna in place. And then I'm going to run an antenna wire. Do a few little more weathering touches, and it will be done. So the Eduard Bf109E4 Profi pack will be complete. So I'm going to end this video here, and the next video will be the final reveal of the 109 at long last. So anyway, stay tuned. Thanks for joining me here on Plastic Models by a Regular Dude, and I will see you all next time.